right, we are back. Welcome back to Pro Bikini News Network. I'm your host, John Algandi, and in today's video, we're going to be recapping the Florida Pro, and we're going to be previewing Janet Layug's Battle of the Bodies, and also the Rising Phoenix Arizona Pro. So, whoa, let's kind of talk about this weekend. It's been a wild weekend. The biggest news, Logan Franklin won the Florida Pro, so all the top 15 guys in Classic already qualified. Thanks to my teammates, they bought the stream and we were on the Discord. We were, talking about it, and I told them, please, I just need to watch Bikini. And I was watching Classic and seeing the routines and see how I'm going to do things. And I'm working with Justin Badgerino, who's one of the top class physique pros for posing. So I'm learning from that. I'm seeing how things go. It was a good show. I actually looked at the top girls, and I've actually looking back, I could see why a lot of girls were rotated, moved in, and a lot of them had their chances. So Mo Newman did her job as a judge and seeing who was best, and they wanted to judge accurately, which I really like. They had about 28 girls in the show, and I could agree with some of the placings. I could look and see why someone placed higher, but it's just who had the best presence, and I believe that was the biggest factor of why Chris won. And I've also who was like meeting that criteria and who's on point. I was going to talk about Italy, but I didn't watch the show, and I didn't really cover it because it was on a Sunday. It was a totally different time zone, and the winner was already Olympia qualified. Patriza. I'm just gonna touch on her just a little bit, just to show what I liked and what I did not like about the physique. But I mean, I think she looks amazing, and I'm not taking away any of her work. I mean, also congratulations to her. She qualified last year, actually. Yeah, so I mean, now we have 71 girls qualified for the Olympia. We did have one person um, in the Hong Kong show win, and I think she's been second a lot. Her name's Maggie. But what's cool, crazy about her, I'm gonna pull that up. Is I got it. This is a crazy story from the whole weekend for her. I mean, not only was it her birthday. Oh, get this. So not only was this was their winner, not only was it her birthday, but also her amateur won the overall and her pro card, and then competed in the pro show the next day with like 20 girls, and she took second to her coach. And I mean, listen, I don't know how many girls in any or anybody in any division, be it men's physique, bikini, or anything where it's like you're coaching you're an athlete and competing with your own athlete. I couldn't do that. I would not want to compete against, because I don't want them to ever think that I'm like sabotaging them or something like that. But your own student, your own athlete takes second to you in a pro show and you win and you qualify on your birthday. I mean, that's an awesome story. I hope that eventually one day this girl does get here and start competing here to get used to criteria. She is. I mean, those girls in Asia, I don't cover them as much because we don't know much about them, but they have such amazing genetics and crazy physiques. It's just they come in too small or just way too hard. And I mean, congratulations to her. Congratulations to you, Maggie. Let me get out of that. Let me get to our shows. But I was gonna actually talk about. I was just gonna touch on Patriza just a little bit, and I'll just show you what I liked about her physique. Let me go to her front. When I looked at the top six girls, I felt like some of them were either too hard to condition in certain parts, or they just had to come in more, fuller and not come in too hard or too conditioned. That's sometimes you see a lot in Europe. I love her front pose. I mean, her waist is like snatched, and it's insane, like ratios. I looked at her, I was like, I think it was going to be between her, Carrie, this Sarah, and Alessia, and I was shocked Alessia wound up getting 12th. Alessia is always consistently in the top spots, and she does very well in US shows, but in Europe she plays 12th. So I was kind of confused about that, but I felt like she had the best like front S curve, glute fullness from the front, really well balanced. I think that's what really carried her over, was her balance from the front. Now, her back pose was good, and I'm going to talk about that for a moment. Let me get this up. But let me just ask, what do you think I'm seeing? The one thing I could say I love about her back, I love everything about her back pose. There's only one thing I don't like, and this is a big no-no in the US. It's her adductors right here. When you have really hard adductors like that gets you docked. And if someone has a great back pose and doesn't have like pronounced adductors, they may not get awarded. So what I hope eventually, I mean, she does compete here and she does understand the criteria here, because in Europe, like I said, it's more conditioned, more harder, grainier physique, versus in US, that doesn't get awarded. So a lot of the girls that come from Europe to the US, I mean, Chris is a girl from Cristobal is from Spain. She's won shows in the US, so she does very well in US shows versus in Europe. But like I said, everything about her is perfect. It's just that one thing. It's just that wouldn't get awarded. But they had to pick the best physique. I do think Carrie had a good back pose as well, but her front wasn't enough to carry her over. I think if you look at who had like the least amount of flaws and who is more like in line, this girl has it. The tines are good, got great calves, and she's only like 5 feet tall. But yeah, I mean, congratulations to her. I do think that going forward, I hope to see her compete more. I mean, that's great that she got 2 wins, in the season for the qualification. So, when next year when starting Monday, when they have that new qualification, I think that she can win 2 shows. She's one of those girls that can qualify and win and do very well. So with that being said, let's get into our top 5 for the Florida Pro. So first and fifth place, we had Nay. I think I think she's continuing to compete to fix everything in her. I do think this is just a good front pose. Her feedback was her midsection and just trying to keep it tight because she has a shorter torso. She has to and she has longer arms, longer limbs. She has to make everything balanced out. I mean, front, it's still a work in progress. It's still something that she's trying to get comfortable with and doing. And I definitely think doing shows and, having nothing to lose, I definitely could think helps her out. And I do think that she can definitely be one of those people to be looking out for, at the Olympia in a couple of years. And we'll see what happens this year. But I do think this is all in her. I love the blue suit. I think this is my favorite color on her that I've seen her wear. The hair, the makeup, everything. It really is it's a really beautiful look on Nay. And I definitely think she has insane genetics. And I think a lot of people wish they had that kind of physique. Now in her back, let's see, go here. Her back pose is really solid. I do think this is better. I do think that it's very well balanced out. One thing is this: you don't want to have too tight of hamstrings. But I also think that she could probably just maybe I don't know, maybe she could bring down her quads a little bit because it's you're looking at her quads first. But I think she has her quads and her toes pointed out so that it looks like her glutes don't overpower. So that's another thing I think that if she kind of just fixed the feet position just a little bit, it could help her out. But you don't want to be where it's glutes and you just look at that only. Back's good. His whole back pose is good. The hair's good. Shoulders, like I said, she does it even more. I think she's ready right there. Just anymore it would stand out too much. But yeah, this is really solid look for Nay, and I'm looking forward to what she does in the Olympian, or if she does a show before the Olympia. All right, in fourth we have Ellie. I think she has such a beautiful look, and she has one of the most underrated physiques in bikini. I honestly think that sometimes at the Olympia she could place, and I definitely think she has that potential to do very well. But she's been on shows with really tough lineups, and I definitely think that she's always that one that's always consistent. And I think right here, I just think maybe I'm seeing things, maybe it's the lighting, but I will tell you this: the live stream lighting was absolute garbage. It made everyone look yellow, but in person, everyone looks so much better. I mean, these photos are pretty good as well from Dan Ray, but this is a very soft front pose. I love the suit, the hair, the makeup. I do think because her waistline is a little thicker. I don't think but that's just something that she has to work around with, and she obviously works to make it accentuate her physique. Great this is really great from the front. Her back is just as solid, but I think that it's sometimes in her back that's lacking. She's a smaller girl, so she can only do so much to add to her frame, and her delts are pretty good. She doesn't, in other shows where it's sometimes you look at that first, but everything is really well balanced here. I definitely think it's a really good package that she's brought. I think it's just someone was just a little more better from her in the front. So let me see her back pose. Again, this is a little solid. I just think for her, she just needs better projection from the back. I don't know if that's something she can do. She has to get that projection without being so etched in with her hamstrings at times. Shoulders are good. She's a little wider from the back. I love the hair. This is really soft from her. I love her hair. I think sometimes it's her feet position. This foot's pointed out, and if this foot's almost pointed out, it's kind of looking a little forward. Like I said, maybe I'm just looking at things, but I definitely think it's the upper outer glute right here. I don't know if that's something she can't do because in her front, it's her glute doesn't round out from her lower back. It's maybe genetics, but I definitely think this is a solid look from her. She's always consistent. I think she's been second, third. So she's had almost every position in the top 5 this year. And I definitely think in the right show, in the right and I definitely think the right show is just the thing. Is if the right show, she could be obviously the winner, right? Let's go to third, which was Brittany. So I think this is way much improved than when she was it Atlanta, I believe. Yeah. But I think they told her don't change a thing. For her feedback with here was don't change a thing. I just think maybe it's her front. I just think she's kind of leaning a little bit forward. It kind of looks like she's too bent. Really beautiful physique, really knows how to like bring her whole frame in. She's about 5'6", 5'7". So that's one thing about her. Sometimes her delts would be too big, or like, she comes in like way too full, or, maybe missed the peak. But I think this is a very well peaked physique. I definitely think that going into this week, she's definitely a front runner to go for, the Olympic qualification. And I love the look. I love the hair. It's probably one of my favorite back poses in the whole lineup. And I definitely think that she was the one everyone was saying that was the standout. And I definitely think she's one to be looking out for. I just think her front needs to be a solid. She is good at posing. She stands in place, which I think helps her out so that she's not taking too much time. She just gets to the point. She knows what works and knows how to make herself look good. I do think it's just right here. She just needs to be a little more upright in her torso. Let's see. Okay, this is a really good back pose from her. Um, that separation of glutes and hamstrings are really solid. This is like really well balanced. I do think sometimes it's like what maybe hinder her is her like she can get snatched in the front, but like in the back, it's just she's just a slightly little more wider. That's something that she has to work around with, and just maybe do some posing adjustments. That's what I think. I definitely think that she had one of the best physiques on the stage, and I definitely think stage presence was up there as well with the top two girls. So definitely solid look from her. I'm looking forward to seeing if she can overtake the girls in the show that she's going to do and move up and take the win there. So I definitely think this is all from her. I definitely think it's much more improved. Everything, is way improved from last year and way improved from last show. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what she can do. I do think, she doesn't need any more glutes. This is just well balanced. Everything's just right there with her physique. And so, yeah, can't find anything more. I mean, I'm pretty sure judges will say something differently, but I definitely think this is from, like I said, from what I saw in the videos and footage, I definitely think that everything's right there. Just going to be a matter of right place, right time. All right, going to second place, which is Hope. So I think this Hope's probably one of the best looks that she's had in many years. She's brought her waist down very much. I do think that she needs to just come in just a little more fuller, because you do see some shoulders like leanness here. She's kind of lean here. I think that's the thing. Like, she's like almost everything's good, but then she just comes in way too lean and too conditioned. I do think she had a better front pose than first place, but her back, I feel like, was just not matching to it. But I just do think she just needs a little more glute so that it's not like she's hamstring dominant and leg dominant. I just think she needs just to bring that up more. This front pose is good, but I just feel like it's just a little too hard, a little too conditioned. But I do think that they're bringing in the criteria. But like I said, front's great. It's just a little too lean. Hair, makeup's good. I love the suit on her. Foot position's pretty solid. Right. Let's go to her back. Yeah, I think it's the back pose. She just needs more glute projection, like right here. She is wider from the back, and she's brought her waist down from the front. She used to have like thicker obliques, but she's brought that all down. But I just do think she could use a little more width up top and shoulders just to like make her waist look smaller, and then just a little more projection just to balance this whole thing out. The tie-ins are good. This is a good back post from her. I just do think she just needs maybe a little more, and maybe she does very well in the show that she's going to do this weekend. But I just think, if she continues her progress year in, year out, she's definitely someone to be looking out for. But we'll see how it goes this weekend. But I do think that she's brought everything up. I think that she's keeping her toes just straight, but that's one thing I would kind of critique her on. Maybe a little, just maybe a little pointed out, so it's not like too like stiff and too rigid. Suit cut's fine. Good look. This is a good package and good look from her. All right, let's go into first, which is Chris. So she's improved every show. I do think, again, Her stage presence is probably one of the best. I just think her front, like right here, is what the issue is. I do think she needs to find a way to, round this glute out. I do think it's just maybe a little flat up top, and maybe it's different from what I see. For a European competitor like her to win, she's won shows in the US. I think she's won like Miami a couple times. Um, I think she did other shows as well in the US. And won. She's won in Europe as well. She's done the Arnold. She's done the Olympia. I do think just making sure that her arms are not like where I look at that first. She could just use maybe a little more shoulder in the front. This is a solid pose from her. It really brings out her S curve. Makeup and hair is good. It's not too distracting. Sometimes she has red makeup. It's just like that's where you look at first. I would never do pink again. When she had the darker hair, I would like the purple suit on her, but red and blonde, it's perfect. This is like a good look for her. All right, let's go to her back. Again, I think she has the best back pose. I do think a little tanning issues right here. You could see it. And I even saw it in the video, like, make sure your tan's good. So you could use a little more fabric in the suit. I mean, I do think it's a little too thin where it's like a T-back, which I'm not a big fan of. But it really helps her physique. I think she's only like 5'2", so I mean, it just really helps her physique out to balance out. But I definitely think in terms of balance, from glutes to hamstrings, legs, and then the whole back pose is really solid. Maybe she's just not fully posed and they didn't get it, but I would have this elbow a little down. Hair's good. I mean, I do think that overall that she had one of the best shapes and balances of all the girls, and where you didn't see many flaws on her versus other girls. And so we'll be seeing her again this weekend. Hopefully she's trying to be an Olympia blocker, but hey, we never know. All you could do is continue to get feedback and see what you could do going into Olympia versus, going back home and then 30 days later, you'll see what happens. I mean, she did place in, I think she's done 17, 18, 19, 20. She qualified. So this is her sixth Olympia. Yeah, she's six-time Olympian. So now, and she's done the Arnold. She placed in 2019. I think she was like 14, 15, 14, I think. Yeah. So yeah, she's one of those top girls. But like I said, the lineup now this year, it's going to be tough for her to place. If she does do well at the Olympia, I do think I could see her maybe possibly in that like third call out, because she's got a good look. I mean, Sandy likes her look, but it's just hard to like do that with so many competitors, and because of her last name, she'll be one of the last people up. So she's got to be coming out like she's memorable. So we'll see how it goes. Let me exit out all this so I can have more. All right. So let's see how I did. I know I did so bad on my picks. So 67%. Most of the girls placed. Maria did not. Actually, everyone placed within the top 10 that I had, except outside of Maria. So who would? I don't know. I think Jody was 10th. So who did I have that? Chris. I was shocked about Tamiki. I feel like when they were posing, a lot of them, they started out strong and then they kind of faded as they were going through comparisons. You got to come out like strong and finish through. But all the girls I had placed except Maria. So I think I forgot the girl that was in the top 10. I think her name was like Maria. No, Marianne. I think she's like from Mexico, I think. I can't remember. But yeah. So I did pretty solid. So let's go into our next shows that we have to preview. So we have Europa. I'd say our front runner is going to be Adriana. She's already Olympia qualified. She qualified in, I think, Poland last year. We haven't seen her. I think they didn't have the footage from the show. I do think they have something, but I'm only going to go on her last show, not from the Olympia, but I'm probably going to look that up. Do they have anything from the show? I think she has such a great physique, but it gets overlooked. Let's see, anything? No. Okay, so I'll just take from her Olympia footage. I think she has such a great look. She does either red or purple, so she's almost like Chris in that. In fact, when I look at her, I kind of think of like, James coaches her obviously, but I think she has like a similar look to like Evie Eskandar. Short girl, longer torso. I think she's such a beautiful stage presence and great physique. I think from the back is where she kind of needs more. Like she just needs more glutes from the back, and she's wider waisted. That's something that she could continue to work on. I think she's done well in US shows and she's competed. I think she's been like having top fives and stuff. So I'd love to see her do shows here in US and, win one. I mean, she's won the Europa now twice, and if she wins this, she'll win the Europa in like three different countries, and that's something that, she won the inaugural show back in 2020. Um, and I do think that I would, like I said, I think there's so many great girls in this lineup, with so many, but it's just like who stands out. So someone's got to walk out and be like, you got to be memorable. But I do think she's probably our winner. She probably has the best like physique, best frame overall, and is not too hard, not too conditioned. Just needs more, just needs a little more. And she's a young competitor, so she'll continue to improve as she does this for many years. Yeah. But I'd say she's our front runner to win it. Lisa, she's Olympia qualified. She's won 2 shows. I definitely think that she's one to be looking out for. She's in her home country, so this is something like she's got to be the one to be like, I can win. She's competed in US, but the Tahoe Pro, I was shocked. I mean, Tahoe Pro, I think she was. I don't know if she was in the top 5 or she was just outside of it. I know she did. I know Savannah won that show, but let's see. Oh, this was her first show working with James. Okay, so she's with James. Okay. So she changed her coach. So, I think as soon as he figures out how her body works and how things goes, I definitely think that she'll continue to improve. And she can get a US win. She was second last year in Arizona. So, and we're actually going to preview Arizona. And then Europe, let's see. And then I'm going to probably end with Carrie. So the 3 girls who are already Olympia qualified, I'd say those are the girls to be looking out for. Like I said, Carrie's great from back, but her front, that may hurt her. So I could see her maybe taking 3rd here. So I have Adriana Kazmarek winning, and I have Lisa Reith second. I have Carrie 3rd. And then the other girls, I mean, I'd say Rania takes 4th. I'd say Rania takes 4th, and then Sarah most likely 5th. Selena, I would love to see the Selena girl do well. She has such an amazing frame and crazy ratios, but I think she just needs to come in just a little more filled out. Like, she could do so well, and I could see someone's potential way before they can see it. And I definitely think that she needs to just come in just a little more. Got an amazing physique, but that's enough from Europa. Let's go into Rising Phoenix. I just mentioned Chris. I just mentioned Chris. I did mention Brittany. I'd say those are our front runners to win it. Fori, she's taken 2nd. She's in her home state, so I definitely think that she's one to be looking out for. She took 2nd in Los Angeles to Tiana. It was really close between them, but I definitely think Tori is the one to be looking out for. She, I think, had a bad peak, and was it the Nevada? Was it no Nevada State? She took 2nd. Los Angeles, the muscle contest shows almost look alike, but the Los Angeles is the one she took. Like, she was just outside the top 5 in. And if you don't follow Tori on TikTok, you're missing out. She's hilarious. I don't think she tries so hard. I think that's her personality, but she's hilarious. Like, she does all these, like, she's always like, "Hey, Barbies," and I don't know. Like, he's got to follow Tori. I think it's Tori IFBB, but she's hilarious, guys. If you need a little laugh in life, you got to follow Tori. But she, I think that she has such amazing physique, amazing frame. I think she has such amazing physique, amazing frame. She just has to not come in too lean. She has like almost like, what's her name? Who's the girl? Reina. She has a physique almost similar to like Reina, where she's like longer, higher lats, great glute inserts, like small waist. So you could see Los Angeles. I do think that her core was her issue in Los Angeles versus here in Nevada. But yeah, I'd say that she's one to be looking out for. I mean, I'd say that she's one of the rookies of the year to be a contender for that. But I hope she can, if she does win and qualify, I mean, that's great for her. But whatever happens, I think that she's proud. She should be proud of what she's accomplished this year. Hey, Hannah, she took 2nd. She took 2nd in Tahoe. She just took 6th place in RGV. So she's one to be looking out for. Is this her recent update? Here we go. It's gonna be. I think it's just everything looks good on her. I just think it's her core, and maybe she's just trying to adjust things. Okay, so here we go. Needs more upper glute. Let's see. Irene, she does so much better in USA versus in Spain. So I'd say that she's one to be looking out for. Let me see from anything of her last shows. It's been a while, but she's on the younger side, so we'll see. Let's go. She's making her pro debut, Abby. So she turned pro at nationals in December, and so this is her first ever pro show. This is her pro debut. She turned pro at 19 years old, 6 months after her birthday. When I had her on, I'm hoping to get that. I had an episode with her, interviewing her and learning about her, and really great girl. She's a full-time student and a competitor, and she's Amy Delgado's first ever pro that she ever had. But I'm excited to see what she can bring. Really great girl, really great physique. She's young, so she'll have many years to grow into her true potential. Let's see. Do I have anything from? See if I can find anything from national. Here we go. No. Where's the Gilco video? Here we go. Is this it? Yeah. Well, I got stage photos. I think front's pretty solid. Like I said, this is like a very young physique. She'll have to grow into that, but she's had almost like 9 months to to improve on that. So we'll see how it goes. Ace. Aisha. Thank you for having your name. This is her pro debut. So she turned pro last year at USA's. See how she goes. Got an amazing frame. This is recent. And so she's brought everything up next level. Right. Chris Fatu got fourth in Tahoe. And she has such an amazing physique, amazing ratios. She's taller and longer, so I definitely think it's just filling out her frame and, doing very well when they do comparisons. I mean, she's had such a stellar year for her in her first season as a pro. I'd say she's one to be looking out for. Marissa, she just competed recently. She took fourth in Texas and was just outside the top 5 in Florida. Jody, she's been consistently in the first call out. And this past show, she paced out to a top 5. I just think she just needs to find a way to fill in her frame and, not come into. I don't know. It's like you have to find a way to like peak that. Yeah, it's just I think for her, it's just a peaking thing. Like she has such a great physique, great stage presence. It's just a matter of nailing the peak. So yeah, that's our girls in Arizona. Now I think this is going to be the show of the weekend. The Layug's Battle of the Bodies. This is her 5th year doing this show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see. So Masa is one to be looking out for. She did very well this past show. She got 7th. Yulia is an Olympian, so Yulia is I'd say one of the top 3 girls here to be looking out for. One of our front runners to win. She's already Olympia qualified, and she's done, I think, Pittsburgh and New York. So I'd say Yulia is one of our front runners. Let's see. So I got 2 pages of this. Asmin Kano, she's Miss USA last year, so this is her pro debut. I haven't seen her on stage in a year, so we'll see how that goes. I think she's up for the test. When I look at her, I'm thinking of like Tara Grier, but she's brought everything up from a whole year. Definitely someone who's in. I don't know. I don't say that she can win it. I do think I could see her in the top 10 possibly here. It's her first ever pro show, so we'll see. Let's go. We did talk about Hope. Taylor, she's taken 2nd, I think 5th. So she's had she's already Olympic qualified, so she's one to be looking out for. I definitely think she's a front runner and a contender to win the show. Taylor, Sandra De La Rosa. Do I have? I couldn't tag her for some reason. So I'd say Cassandra De La Rosa, Lana. She's an Olympian. We haven't seen her on stage since Ben Weeder, so we'll see what she can bring. She's a natural athlete, but even though she's natural, she still has great genetics and she still has such a great physique. And she was rookie of the year, the year she qualified. Lana's one to be looking out for. Nicole Gucci, she's a Masters Olympian. Janine, she's one to be looking for. Christy and Someday. Alice, she's from Europe. She's competing here. She took 2nd in India. So I'd say Alice is one to be looking out for. Hopefully she gets used to U.S. criteria here. Zofia, she's Olympia qualified. So she hasn't been on stage since France when she qualified early. So we'll see how it goes. Sarah, we just talked about. Christina, she did very well. She got her first call out at her pro debut. I think she's top 10, or I think she's top first call or top 10, but she did very well. So we'll see how she does with these stacked lineup Olympians. There's 42 girls here. But I'd say our front runner to win would be Alice. She's top 15. She took second a lot of times this year, and she finally wanted Legion. So we haven't seen her on stage since May. So we'll see how it goes. I definitely think that she's someone who could be pushing into that top 10 this year. I definitely think she's moving up, and if she brings the improvements that she has from Legion to now and then to the Olympia stage, I definitely think she's one to be looking out for. She got an amazing physique, amazing frame. She kind of reminds me of like a taller Jen, right? So, did I go through everyone? Should I do predictions? Let me see. Am I missing anyone? Anyone that I've seen that places and done well? I definitely think this is the show. If they do have the live stream, I'm definitely going to be looking at that. So, yeah, let's get into predictions. Let's go. Here we go. So, I actually wrote this down. Okay. We'll do Rising Phoenix first. I'm going Chris, Brittany, Tori, Fatu. Go. I'm going to go Marissa, Jody, Hannah, Abby, Asa, Aisha, and then Irene. I think after like from 7th through 10th, that's going to be the hard one to pick. But I think going through this one, going through Janet's show, I'm like, oh, this is tough. I wanted to see Masa one more time before I go into this. Oh, that's why I didn't see. Got amazing. She has such an amazing frame and amazing physique. She's the most. She's 5'10", so she's the tallest girl of them all. She has won a show, and I hope to see her eventually get into the Olympia stage. Eventually, it's a tough lineup. I do think she's going to do pretty good here because of her experience and how and what she brings into her physique. I actually would think she could be in that top 5. Okay. So I'm gonna go Alice, Taylor, go Yulia, go Hope, Masa, Cass, Lana, Christina, Jasmine. I'm gonna go Alice. I think I'm missing someone. Oh yeah, the North Americans girl, the one that won the overall. I think it's gonna be experience level for her, but I think she's got a great physique. I think her name's like Roberta. Let me look at her one more time. There's so many people to go through. Like, it's hard to recall. I'm so sorry. Got an amazing physique. I just think she needs to tweak her front pose. She was the H class winner. Definitely think she just needs a little more to her upper body. Got great balance. Let's see, am I missing? Let me go back. I'll make sure this is. Part of me has like. It's like both the shows, both these shows is like 6th through 7th, 6th through 10th is like where it gets hard. Maybe like right here, I'd say between 5 and 10, that could be like interchangeable. I could see Alice or Taylor and Yulia as the front runners to win. I mean, if Hope does, I just think part of me could see Hope maybe getting 3rd here. Like I'm gonna say between these two. I mean, like, then we'll see. All right, that's all I have for this week. This is it. 1 month. This is the last chance to qualify. To get your win, and then starting Monday, that's when we're gonna have that point system getting implemented. So you have to win 2 shows if they're just to qualify. So it's definitely going to get people out and compete more. And I'm going to be and we're going to have so much fun week by week by week to see like who's in the points, who's moving up, who's in, who's not. I should be doing that. It's going to be a lot of work, but I don't mind doing that. But I'd like to make things exciting. I'd like to bring some enthusiasm to the bikini division. This year it kind of felt like kind of felt like everyone's one and done and didn't make anything interesting. But now we have to make things interesting. So I'm looking forward to this season. I'm looking forward to, at post Olympia, who's going to try to, test themselves and try a peek out. And they have nothing to lose. If you have nothing to, and people can qualify, maybe try to get some points and, try to get some wins to qualify for next year. So we'll look and see how that goes. And man, this is it. This is the finish line. I have my Q&RA going to be uploaded later today. I did that. Probably going to have that tomorrow morning. I have an interview with another guest tomorrow. I'm hoping my interview with Abby gets out of storage and I can restore that and bring that and put that up. And I have another guest, and then I have another special guest, which I'm interviewing on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. And please like the video, subscribe. I'll continue to do more content for you guys. I'll continue to bring more value for the bikini division. And I'll see you guys next time.